Today, we're going to talk about a government watchdog in the Philippines that has a surprisingly sharp bite.
Okay, picture this because it's a story you've probably heard before. A government pours $1 billion into some huge critical project, but then, when you need it the most, it totally fails. So the question is always the same. Where did all that money actually go?
Well, this isn't just a hypothetical. In a very real case, after some catastrophic floods, auditors started digging into a massive flood control program, and what they uncovered was just staggering. We're talking about projects that only existed on paper, ghost projects, and brand new dikes that were so poorly built, they literally just washed away with the first flood.
So who's the one who comes in and blows the whistle on this kind of mess? In the Philippines, that job falls to a really powerful independent body whose entire purpose is to be the guardian of the public purse. It's called the Commission on Audit, or COA for short, and you should think of it as the country's top financial referee. Now, this isn't just another government office. It's an independent body that was written right into the Constitution. That puts it on equal footing with everyone else, so it can do its job without any political pressure. And its powers? They are immense. The Constitution gives COA the exclusive authority to audit every single cent the government spends. But here's the real kicker. The thing that makes it so powerful, its jurisdiction cannot be taken away by law. That means no politician, no agency can just pass a law to say, hey, you can't look at our books. Nope. COA's reach is absolute, and it's protected.
Okay, so having all that power is one thing, but it's how you use it that really matters, right? And over the years, COA has changed its methods. They've moved way beyond just checking receipts. They've built a toolkit that lets them ask a much deeper question. This slide shows the shift perfectly. You see, the old way, a compliance audit, was basically like being a bookkeeper. You're just asking, did we follow the rules? Do the numbers add up? But this new performance audit, that's more like being an investor. It asks a way better question. Okay, we spent the money, but did we get our money's worth? Did the thing we built actually work?
And this whole approach is built on what they call the 3 E's. First, you have economy. Did we get the supplies at the lowest cost? Pretty straightforward. Second, efficiency. Did we get the most out of what we put in without wasting time or resources? And then you've got the most important one, effectiveness. Did the project actually achieve what it was supposed to? I mean, did that flood dike, actually stop the flood? So when you take that 3E analysis and apply it back to that flood control project, well, the failure becomes crystal clear. It failed on economy because people got paid for materials that were never even delivered. And it was a spectacular failure on effectiveness because the dikes provided zero flood protection. They just washed away. It failed its one and only job. Now, auditing an entire country's spending, that's a monumental task. You've got thousands of projects scattered across thousands of islands. How can COA possibly keep an eye on everything? Well, turns out they have a secret weapon. So get this. How many state auditors do you think there are for the entire country? Just about 7,000. That's it. Which brings us to the big, obvious challenge here. How can a team that small possibly keep watch over every town hall, every public school, every single piece of infrastructure in a country with over 100 million people? It just doesn't seem possible. The answer is so brilliant because it's so simple. They don't do it alone. COA started a program that deputizes the most valuable resource any country has, its own citizens. It's called the Citizen Participatory Audit, or CPA, and it's a totally formal, structured process. COA teams up with trusted local community groups, trains citizen volunteers on the basics of auditing, and then, and this is the incredible part, those citizens physically join the professional auditors on field inspections. What they find goes right into the official government report. And if you need proof that this works, just listen to this. In an audit of a different flood control system, it wasn't the professional auditors who found the fatal flaw. It was the local citizen auditors. They were the ones who pointed out, hey, people have built their houses right on top of the floodgates so they can't even close. That's a kind of local knowledge a visiting auditor might easily miss. So COA finds the ghost projects and the faulty dikes, and they often do it with the help of citizens. Okay, great. But what happens next? I mean, finding the problem is one thing, but accountability, that's where the real power is. This is where the audit gets its teeth. When COA finds that money was spent improperly, it issues a document called a Notice of Disallowance. And this isn't just a suggestion or a friendly recommendation. It is a legal order. It says this money was misspent and you are now required to return it.
Which, of course, leads to the most important question of all. If millions were wasted, who gets the bill? Who has to pay it back? The contractor? Some low-level employee who signed a form? Or the official who approved the whole thing? The answer comes from a huge Supreme Court ruling called the Madera Doctrine, and this is a total game changer. It basically says that if a public official acts with bad faith or is grossly negligent, they can be held personally liable for repaying the entire amount, not part of it, all of it.
Let's just think about what that means for a second. Imagine a mayor uses $500,000 from the disaster relief fund to throw a big party. Under this doctrine, COA can legally force that mayor to repay the entire $500,000 out of their own pocket. Now that is a serious deterrent. All right, so let's just quickly recap the big ideas here. First, the Philippines Commission on Audit is a seriously powerful and independent watchdog, and it's protected by the Constitution. Second, they use performance audits that are all about results, not just receipts. Third, they figured out how to multiply their power by getting everyday citizens involved. And finally, their findings have real teeth thanks to rules that hold officials personally responsible.
And that really leaves us with one last thought. The system for accountability is there. The legal tools are in place, and they definitely have a sharp bite. The real question now is, are citizens ready to step up and be the eyes and ears that make that entire system work?